Yo, what up, guys? Me, Patrick Bar again, back again, building a $5,000 Blender Octane community, all in public, and sharing everything I'm going through. And if you're new to this video, this is basically me. I'm going to answer a couple of questions here, posted on the channel, and then from here, I'll just do a quick little mind dump of this journey of building a community and trying to do something I love and make money at it. So let's get straight into it. Didn't really have any questions from yesterday's daily bump, but we still got plenty of questions in here. So, newest question came in from AL313. Any chance you sell the setup file on its own without having to join? Actually, good question. I'm actually going to just post that. It's actually in the Gumroad channel. If you go to my Gumroad right now, boom, you go to Gumroad and it's I have a free version of the setup file. The one in the community is going to be a little bit more different. Of course, that's just part of the perks of being in the community, but I tend to always make a free version for everybody else also out there. So if you guys come into where is it at, the profiles, you go into my Gumroad, all kinds of free assets there, pretty much upload that I've uploaded. Come on, dude, get to it. Profile, there we go. So you can come here, and I think I have a bunch of free materials and stuff. That's it. What is not showing? It's not showing everything here. There we go. Yeah, let's take the minute right here. This one is updated. Actually, it's updated to 2025. I just haven't updated the actual, but I did put the new file inside of here. So definitely you can take a look at that and download that one for free. And that should help you out. I need to update that title. We'll do that after this. So yeah. My first time doing something besides modeling, and I'm so happy it worked. Oh, very cool, doing the tracking tutorial. That's nice. Very good. Glad to hear that. Awesome. Yeah, my first track, it felt like I climbed Mount Everest trying to get my first track, especially in Blender. Using Blender's tracker is quite a little bit finicky, but it's very powerful once you truly understand it. Cycles have better displacement after Blender 4.3. The distance between Cycles and Octane is more and more closer. I don't really compare the two anymore. I'm over trying to compare which is better and which is not better, but they both have their strong points, and I preferably like Octane's texture displacement, which is actually getting a new upgrade too coming up here shortly. So yeah, it's very cool. It's very powerful. You don't have to have any subdivision in your mesh. You can just throw the texture displacement on there, and boom, that thing is fire. Another one I'm very interested in getting into rendering with Blender Octane. Is transferring projects between vanilla Blender and Octane difficult, especially in terms of lighting and texture, or would that have to be done from scratch when switching into Blender? Great question. Materials and lighting are complete different systems in Octane. Octane has its own lighting system. It has in its own lighting system is based off of real world light wave colors. So that's why some people say sometimes it tends to look a little bit more photo real, especially in the whites and the highlights. Opinions, but it's different. So the materials are different, the material nodes are different, the lighting is different. Matter of fact, I was just working on building a material, getting a lot of requests, a lot of people joining my community who make jewelry, and they're like, because of the way the metals and stuff like. So I've actually just cooked up a full-on metal pack of just polished metals, and these are all basically using the quickly show you here, using the reflective index and a bunch of gibberish math, crazy math. I'm able to select the metals that I want. I basically have all of these here, and it gives me the correct refractive index and extend it, whatever that word is. And I take these values here after there's some others. There's a lot of math going on, right? Where I take these two numbers here, and these two numbers, if you come into Octane and you go into the metallic IOR, there's a settings here. We have these different settings, artistic, fun, but to get tech kind of like scientifically accurate metal colors, you would go to RGB ROR, and then I put these values in here, this top number, and basically these numbers have to go in there. It's a lot of crazy math, but you plug these values into here, and then we can get kind of closely, really accurate metals. So I've kind of put this together because a bunch of jewelry people have been hitting me up about metals and things like that. So these are going to be like the high polished, clean ones, and then I'm going to probably make a couple other where I like to grunge them up because I love grunging stuff up. So we'll probably do that. So I just finished cooking these out, and so far they're coming out pretty nice. They look good. I mean, of course, this is gold right here. That looks fantastic, right? Silver. We got silver, brass, aluminum, lead, stainless steel. So that's one thing about Octane to me. The metallic shader and just the way the light rolls off is absolutely fantastic. Very good. So yeah, it's a complete different system as far as lighting. It's not that hard. It's pretty much the same. They just the nodes look different, and there's a lot more options on the nodes if you look at it. This is our universal node, basically the principal BFD. And cycles, this is our version of the principal BFD in Octane. So a lot more going on here. But it looks foreign, but once you start playing with it, it's all the same stuff. All right, where did we go? Where's our page at? It's usually pretty straightforward to transfer. Now I'm not going to say that. I'm not even going to. Yeah. Let's look at our next one here. And I was using RGB image all the time. What were we talking about? Oh, this is a good, quick little insight. This is another slightly different way that Octane works. When we have image maps, when you're doing PBR materials and stuff like that, typically you can just use an RGB image all the way across the board. Well, once you got heavy scenes and once you start building out big scenes, you need to start minimizing how much memory you're using on your GPUs. And one of the things about Octane that's pretty nice, we actually have this thing called a grayscale image node. So for example, for roughnesses and bumps, instead of using an RGB color, which actually has more channels, we can just use what's called a grayscale image node. And this is basically black or white. So what is a grayscale image node? Here it is. I have a quick little picture. And then we load single channel images like mask, bumps, and roughness faster and leaner than an RGB texture node. And there it goes. Use it for roughness maps, controlling glossiness and micro surfaces, scattering with compact grayscale maps. Use it for bumps or displacement. Feed grayscale height maps into a bump or displacement node for surface details. And use it for mask, perfect for black and white masks to blend shaders and divide materials. So instead of having the red, green, blue channels, we just have two channels, black and white, and that just also helps maximize our memory consumption. So yep, that's what she's talking about, or Cobb talking about. Oh, Cobb, definitely. What up, bro? He always joins us on our live streams. Back up to another one. Love the editing. Thank you very much. Mohad ATT. Okay, thank you. It's probably in a different language, and I'm just not understanding it. Awesome. Again, talking about want to tweak your textures on the fly without messing. Let's see what this one is here. Clicking on this one here. Want to tweak your textures out on the fly? Octane texturing tip. I need to get back to posting these here, right? These little. I used to post these things while I'm at work on my lunch break. I would kind of just cook up these little things, all done on my cell phone, screen imaging captures from the manual, and then throw them into Adobe Express and then quickly cook them out. It's pretty cool. Want to tweak your textures without opening Photoshop? Use the image adjustment node. We have the image adjustment nodes. It's kind of like bringing all of those tools in Photoshop into this node here. You can clearly see we've got, once you plug your image in and the texture out, we've got strength control, hue control, RGB mapping, colors controls, brightness, contrast, lift, pivot, gamma, hue shift, saturation, tone color. It's a very powerful node, extremely powerful node to really to tweak colors and get more control of your image. So you can plug this in and have like that Photoshop like control with an image. Why is it so slow? The internet is just so slow going on here. It's either, oh, there we go. So basically, I broke it down: brightness, gamma, contrast, hue, saturation, all in one node. It's really cool. We how add the image in here, and then we can adjust it, plugging in images or procedural textures, which is really nice when you can start to tweak the procedural textures, dialing your tweaks, and then we can connect anything to our material. As long as it has that green, we can connect those into. So it's stay non-destructive, stay creative, want deeper, whatever, quickly. So that's really cool right there. Thanks for the love on that. It's a really powerful node, though. I should probably make a video just about that node. Also, some of the unsung heroes of Blender Octane. So basically, your PC specs also affect the cost. Uh, Not really. What affects the cost is how long. He's talking about the render network. Um, what affects the cost, yeah, it does, like how long, how many frames you have, and I think the samples, how many samples you're using. I don't know the exact math that's going on behind it, but yeah, but not your computer settings really don't have anything to do with it. It's more like your render settings inside of Blender or inside of Cycles or inside of Redshift, because it can work with any of those. Whatever your render settings are and how long it is going to dictate the fee. And then it's still an estimate. Like at the end of it, it gives you an estimation of how much it's going to cost. So that's probably like the closest. You might want to go to their website, the Render Network, and they'll give you more details about how they're probably charging you. And I think it's like how many GPUs you're taking, the speed, how fast do you want it back. That also is going to rack up the point. If you want to do it, just kind of like there's a whole, I have a whole video on the Render Network, this one right here, and it talks about more in detail of the Render Network. For those of you who don't understand what I'm talking about, even if you're using Blender Cycles, you can use the Otoy Render Network, or the Network, and you can upload your file to the Render Network, and it's basically a blockchain GPU set system where I upload my files and it accesses all these GPUs, and I can render multiple files at one time. Literally, like I've gotten like renders that were 360 plus frames, and I've gotten them back in 15-20 minutes because it's rendering on different machines, simultaneous blockchain, and it comes right back to you. So it's really cool. If I can remember, I'll put the link down in this video. There is a free trial. You can get 300 frames for free to try it out. It works for Cycles. It works for Octane. Instead of jibber jabbering about it here, I can probably just quickly show you the site here really fast. Render Network. Yeah, it's actually fantastic. I use it. I use it pretty much all the time when I have anything. Like I render on my machine while I'm building it, and then once I'm ready to do that final render, I send it over to the Render Network because it allows me to keep working. I don't have to wait for my machine to render all day. I can just upload it to the network and continue to work. So here is accelerate your 3D render. Try the Render Network for free. You're one step away from transforming your workflow. Rather, whether you're using Blender, Octane, Cinema 4D, Houdini, or Unreal, you will get a you will cut your render time down by 90% at a fraction of the cost of traditional setups. Absolutely true. Why the Render Network? Faster, cheaper. Render 3D scenes in minutes or hours instead of days, thanks to our powerful GPU network. Works with tools compatible with Blender, Cinema 4D, Unreal, and 20 other softwares. Also with Cycles, they just released it now, works with Cycles too, so it's not just for Octane, right? Try for free. You guys use here £30, free credits, or enough for 30 frames or 30 seconds of an animation, depending on your project. How do I get my credits? Basically, create an account here and then put in your email here, and then I'll hook you up with the free credits. And then bada bing, bada boom, check it out. It's cool. Instead of going to Starbucks for 1 month, make your own coffee, save that money, buy some render credits, and then boom, it's just going to save you a heck of a lot of a headache. All right. I got to remember to put that link in there. Let me go ahead and copy that just in case I forget. All right, let's jump back here. I didn't find any frame range options. I export the Orbix with animation. Not really. So render network workflow part 2. This video, I was basically showing how I didn't find any frame range options. I exported Orbix with an animation. Yeah, there is. It's just your blender, whatever your blender frames, like whatever your blender set up at, that's what it's going to render when export out the orbit. Like if my frame range down here is set to 1 to 250, well, when I go to export the Orbix file, if I come here, export Orbix right here, boom, it's gonna automatically take the 250 because that's what your thing was set at. And whatever your render settings you're here are at, it's going to take those settings. And whatever your compositing passes are set at, it's going to take those settings. So that's basically how it works. Have you actually, let me go back to the other page. I don't want to jump out of here. Appreciate the response. Blender Octane PC versus Mac Octane. Yeah, there is a version Octane for Mac, and there's also one for PC. I don't know anything about the Mac one because I'm a PC user, so I don't like to speak on things I really don't know about. So yeah, I try to get back to everybody's comments, guys. Like that's just kind of one thing that I've always done, even on my other YouTube channel where I'm all about mobile filmmaking. It's 140,000 subscribers on there, and since day one, I've always tried to keep that intact. Was always commenting on people's somebody who takes the time to actually write a comment. I really want to take the time to respond to that comment because there were so many YouTube channels that I followed, and like you would comment and like nothing, like they would no acknowledgement. And I just kind of thought that was a little cheap and cheesy. Like, I'm giving you my time, but you can't take a moment. I can understand if you're like Mr. Beast or something, you got literally hundreds of thousands of comments, but most YouTubers who are like starting out and you're under 1,000 subscribers, you should be commenting. So anybody's out there and you're making a YouTube, you're building a community, man. Like you're building something, right? So if I ask you, if it was like in real life, I go to your club and you don't say anything to me, it's like, I'm not going back to your club. But so I said something that I've always take the time to always comment. And that's why I'm doing these type of videos here right now. So, all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and shift from there. And pretty much as far as today, that's like, I'm using something a little bit different here. There we go. So today, I didn't really do too much today. Today was basically working on getting my business plan together for teaching other Blender artists how to do what I'm doing and how to monetize a community, not with your typical Patreon or make a course, but something totally new, something totally different. And that's building an Octane school community here. Like, you're going to hear me talk about this all the time because I just feel so many artists, especially 3D artists, they're just failing. They're missing an opportunity to really monetize and continue to do what they love. And like the whole Patreon, the whole Discord, that's dead. I mean, it's not dead, but it's just everybody does it because everybody's doing it. Like, I feel especially more than now, like with AI taking over, like community is going to be the next thing. Like real people building a community, like that's going to be the next thing more than anything, especially with the whole AI movement. Like people are gonna start getting back to people and communicating with people. So like, I just can't stress enough of like how much community like I'm building here with my guys, with the group here. We've gotten 2 new members today who've joined, and like just they come in, they got questions, they get their questions answered. Like, you put it on the forum and maybe your questions might get answered. And even just from me, I'm learning from them. The 2 who came in today, like they just happen to be both doing jewelry renders, and I'm like, jewelry renders, like I knew it was a thing, but I really didn't know it was a thing. So it's got me motivated to make materials for that type of stuff. So it's kind of like I don't know, it's cool. I really enjoy it. So that's it for today. Nothing much. We'll get back to it again tomorrow if I got something to share with you guys. And keep rendering. It's the only way we'll get better. Blender Octane, this is the way. Peace.